With us on the phone is our friend Bob Barker. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I'm doing splendidly. I hope you are.
This man is truly one of the greats. We'll tell you, went to The Price is Right on a film day, took some friends, and I wasn't the biggest watcher, but certainly appreciated what was being done. This guy, when he came out, people had driven from Montana all over the country just to see him. And what I really appreciated, Bob, is that whenever you would take a commercial break, you would stay on the stage, answer questions, tell stories. You were rivetingly entertaining. I was so impressed with how hard you worked.
Well, I thank you. I really do. I appreciate it coming from fellows like you. I sincerely do. I stayed on the stage for selfish reasons, too. Once I was introduced and we got the show rolling and the audience was up and having fun, I didn't want to go off during a commercial and give them a chance to settle down again and then have to build them up while I get on the air. I tried to keep them up, tried to make the whole experience a big party, and apparently, in your estimation, it worked.
Bob, that's the reason you are one of the most beloved.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely true.
You're making my day. You're getting me off to a fine start.
Well, Bob, thousands and thousands of shows. You decide to retire. You do your last show. Was it cold? Was it just shock? Was it like jumping into a freezing? What did you do with your time? Were you concerned with that? I mean, your body clock is, The Price is Right.
Well, my body clock was a show. It was The Price is Right, certainly for 35 years, but I started doing shows when I was still in radio in 1946, and my wife worked with me. She would produce my shows, and when she was still here, we would be talking about the show. What are we going to do on the show? When we're on vacations or a long weekend, we were talking about the show. And I've always had the show. Well, I thought, when I get up in the morning and there's no show and there's not going to be a show, I may go off my gourd. But not so. I'm much more relaxed mentally and physically, and I frankly, gentlemen, I'm a complete success at retirement.
Well, good. You deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. You've always been very active, not only with animal rights, but tennis player. You speak how many languages?
No, I speak a little Spanish, but not enough to even count.
I think I disagree with that. But no,
I speak a little English too.
A little bit. In the bio in front of us, and I had never heard this before, but you tell this great story about being offered a job in a porn film. What the hell?
That's about 5 lines in the book, and I'm asked every time I do an interview. They say, "Were you ever in a porn movie, or did you have a chance to be a porn star?" Well, I'll tell you the story if you would like to hear it.
Absolutely.
Please.
I worked for a year in Florida, in Palm Beach, before I came to California. And I did some modeling down there, and there was a New York photographer came down, and I did some work with him, and I told him I was coming to Florida, that my wife and to California, and he said, well, here, he gave me a card. He said, this is a photographer, might give you some work out there in Hollywood while you're looking for something in radio. So I went, when Dorothy Jo, my wife, and I came out here, I went down to see this photographer. And the photographer said he couldn't use me, but he said, I have a friend down on Santa Monica. He said, you go down there, he might be able to use you.
Uh-oh.
So I went down there, and this fellow, he approached it very diplomatically and carefully, but gradually it dawned on me, this guy is offering me a role in a pornographic movie. And when I realized that, I said, man, I said, this is not for me. And I fled. But I thought it was so funny. I was laughing to myself all the way home about telling Dorothy Jo.
Sure.
So I came home and I said, honey, I've been offered a role in a pornographic movie.
Uh-huh.
And she just turned around and looked at me and she said, did you take it? So I told that story in the book just to get Dorothy Jo's line. I thought it was hilarious. And now, I'm telling you, I'm practically, it's just assumed I'm a pornographic movie star. And believe me, if there had been an audition, I would never have been offered the role of
I see. The book Bob is speaking of is Bob Barker, Priceless Memories. Was this a fun book to put together?
It was a fun book to put together because I set out from the very beginning to make it a happy book. You know, the shows that I've done have been happy shows. The specials that I've done have been happy shows. I went out on the road and did the Bob Barker Fun and Games show, which was a happy show. And I'm basically a happy guy, and I wanted to have a happy book, and I think that's what we have here.
Now, Bob, it's really no news to anybody that you're a big advocate of animal rights, and it must have been devastating for you to hear the goings-on of Michael Vick.
Oh, my gosh. It was devastating, I think, for most of the country.
Yeah.
But if there's anything good about that terrible situation, it is the fact that it has brought dog fighting to the attention of people across the country.
Yeah.
And today I understand that authorities are getting more complaints about dog fights. They're getting more tips on dog fights. There are more investigations of dog fights and more convictions. And so in a backhanded way, Michael Vick may have done something good for dogs.
You're the kind of guy, and we love you for it. You never say a negative thing about anybody, well, other than Michael Vick. But I loved the moments on the show when the ladies, you know, they come up, they want to kiss Bob Barker, they kiss Bob Barker, they play the game, they lose the game, they need to leave the stage, and they just won't. I love the way you gallantly and gentlemanly grab the elbow and push them off the stage.
Well, if they don't move, then why I just call for security.
You had some trouble on occasion.
Oh, Bob, what was the Adam Sandler movie that you were in?
Oh, Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Okay, that's a hell of a right you got, Bob.
Well, oh yes, my body is a deadly weapon. It's killing me.
When Adam,
you know, I had studied karate with Chuck Norris for years, and before he became a picture star, and Chuck used to come over to my home and beat me up twice a week, and I'd never won a fight. So when Adam showed me that script, I saw that I won the fight. I said, "I'll do it, man. Now that's for me." And I never, that movie was released, I think, in 1994. I never taped A Price is Right after that the audience didn't want to talk about Happy Gilmore in that fight.
Yeah.
Particularly young men.
Yeah.
Young men loved that fight.
Well, it was hilarious.
They want to know, could you really beat up Adam Sandler? In real life, could you beat up Adam Sandler? I say, are you kidding? Adam Sandler couldn't whip Regis Philbin.
ooh, strong words from Bob Barker. The book, again, is Priceless Memories. It's available now. There is a book signing. Go see Bob tonight.
Well, listen, I'm doing a book signing tonight at 6:30 at Barnes & Noble in the Grove.
I love the Grove.
Well, listen.
And one other thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm hustling this book. I want you to know that any profits, if there are any profits, will go to the DJ&T Foundation, which subsidizes spay-neuters all over the United States.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
Bob, I don't know how many book signings you've done, but you better get ready. This is the Grove. This is going to be packed with fans that just want to see you.
I'll bring a half dozen pens.
You do that. The book looks great. Just perused it, and there's some wonderful
Great.
photos.
Haven't you read any of them?
Not just a couple of words.
We just got it.
It's not published for beauty. You're supposed to read them.
We're not big on reading.
But when you learn to read, I think you'll enjoy it.
We'll try. We'll try it
Bob,
out.
listen.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Bob.
It's obvious how much we appreciate you. You're welcome here anytime. The very best, and thank you for all you did for us.
I thoroughly enjoy visiting with you, and I hope to do it again soon.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Bob.
See you later.